Welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here, not live in studio. Once again, we are Memorex bound here. Taped for your viewing pleasure earlier in the week, but it is Thursday, February 2nd if you are tuning in, or possibly Friday, February 3rd on the re-air. Who knows? But we are back and we are ready for action. We missed last week, so we got to catch up on all the playoff activity and the previewing of the Super Bowl.
It is the two main teams that battle each other.
And like what do we have here? Mr. Bob Ross Jr.'s New York Giants going up against my very own New England Patriots once again. 2007/8 all over again. It's the Patriots and the Giants in the Super Bowl this Sunday, Super Sunday. What do they say? Kickoff will be about 6:18 or so.
Yeah, but if it starts by 7, we're lucky.
The under-over is 6:18. I'll give you a 6:30 if you're lucky. But they'll get that game going. But let's quick first say hello to my man, Bob.
How are you, Scott?
I'm doing very well, and I know you're doing very well.
Oh, I'm happier in...
a pig and some slop, perhaps.
Yes.
And we got Bob, as you remember a couple weeks ago. He was the one-man crew directing and working on the microphone and the whole bit. But we got our man Mike Toohey back in the studio from Expose Cinema helping us out, and I think Dave King's in there helping out. We got the whole Comcast family helping us out today to get this show done. But the first game, I mean, the playoff games, the championships game, Bob, were unbelievable. Oh. What a day of football this was for the NFL. About 7.5 hours worth of fierce competition, on the edge of your seat drama, as neither team in both games could separate themselves by more than one score, one possession. For 7.5 hours, there was always a team within striking distance to either tie or take the lead or go back up on top. And it was the Patriots in the first game against the Ravens, their old nemesis, who always play them tough, and this one was no different, as the Ravens defense gave the Patriots some fits, but they moved the ball when they had to, and a crucial fourth down and inches.
Crucial to say the least.
Tom Brady, QB sneak, put them back up on top in the fourth quarter after they had gone down 17-16, and then a fumble by Danny Woodhead, and the Ravens got a field goal. Suddenly they were up 20-16 in the fourth, and things didn't look good. But that was the only part of the game that the Ravens were leading in. The Patriots did lead this game for most of the way. They were playing from the winning position, so that was good for them, and they regained that lead, and then they held on for dear life as the Ravens drove down the field. They eschewed a 50-yard field goal to try to tie this game midway through the fourth quarter, went for it on fourth down. The Patriots came up with the stop. Then, in the final 2 minutes, the Ravens had the ball and they drove down the field, and this is what all the Patriot fans are worried about. Is their defense good enough to hold on in a situation like this? And for a brief, fleeting moment, it looked like Lee Evans was going to be the hero for the Ravens, catching a touchdown pass in the end zone. But no, hold your horses. Sterling Moore gets his hand in just in time, knocks the ball away, and then they force them into that field goal situation. Billy Cundiff rushes out into the field. A little bit of, they weren't all that settled down. Time ticking on the play clock, and he hooks it left. He chokes change, chunks the field goal. The Patriots win this game. Unbelievable, 23-20. They go back to the Super Bowl. They get it done. It was really quite a thrilling game. The Ravens were 9 of 17 on third downs, which is going to be a key as we look forward to the Super Bowl. The Patriots are going to have to do better than that against the Giants. Brandon Spikes had a big interception in this game. We mentioned Woodhead's fumble. Brady, he wasn't great, threw 2 interceptions. One of them was a great individual effort by the Ravens defense in the end zone after the Spikes interception, which could have, iced the game for the Patriots, but they gave it right back, which led to the drama as the Ravens marched down the field and felt like they could have almost won this game, and then certainly forced an overtime with the tying field goal that he missed. Unbelievable. Billy Cundiff misses what really was, a short field goal. Should have got that done.
It just went wide.
The thing I have a problem with, though, is that most people are saying the Patriots got lucky to win this game. The Ravens should have won this game. There was nothing easy at all about this game for either team. Certainly the Ravens could have won this game, no doubt about it. They were right there throughout, back and forth the score went. down 3-0, down 10-3, tied 10-10, 13-10, 16-10, up 17-16, up 20-16, down 23-20, which was the final score, and then the chance to win it late. But there's nothing easy about a game that is that close, and the fact that the Patriots played with the lead throughout or with the ball tied in the winning position, that gives them the advantage in this game. So I don't see any way that anybody could say they were lucky to escape this game. They did what they had to. The defense stepped up. And so it was that game, and then we get to see as the Giants go out there to San Francisco
in that mess.
Rainy, swampy day.
I thought it was everything. The ball was just flopping
And as
everywhere.
we get into overtime, Bob, and they're lining up for a field goal, you can think back to days of yore when Matt Barr kicked a game-winning field goal against those San Francisco 49ers in a championship game. And there we see it right there. Matt Barr kicking one in the classic of all time game against the Niners, leading the Giants to their Super Bowl victory against the Bills. That one was. So it was the Giants, Niners again, and the Niners defense was unbelievable in this game.
They did so
I
great.
mean, especially in the second half, Bob. I mean, there was no way the Giants were going to score any points if it wasn't for Kyle Williams, whose name will now live in infamy out there in San Francisco. The young kid, substitute punt kick returner in for Ted Ginn Jr., who's a Pro Bowl type punt returner. He was injured and out. Kyle Williams in this game. First, he muffs the ball, standing too close to a bouncing ball, lets it hit off his knee, and the Giants recover, get them in good field position, give Eli Manning credit. He connects on 3rd and 15 against another second stringer. Yeah. The kid who was covering on Mario Manningham on that play was in because of an injury earlier in the game to a San Francisco defensive back. So they took that 17-14 lead. Williams, the GOAT, did have some good returns, Bob, because then he had a good return that sets up to San Francisco. They march down the field and tie this thing right back up 17-17. They go into overtime, and it looked like neither defense was going to give up anything, and they could be playing for a very long time. But here comes Mr. Williams again. Unbelievable. He does not secure the ball on a punt return. He goes up the middle, a little poke check hand in there by the Giants defense. He fumbles it. Giants have the ball in good position. They run a few plays, get even better position, and Tynes again, second overtime winning on the road in dicey weather situations. You remember against Green Bay, freezing, frigid, cold weather conditions. This time, the rainy swamplands of Candlestick. He blew out the candles. That's what he did.
He did.
It was the rain dampening things, but they were still burning, and they thought they were going to win this game, but he blew those candles out. And it was the Giants getting this win, setting up the rematch. The Giants, Bob, 5th Super Bowl.
Yes.
5-0 in NFC championships.
Yes.
Impressive, to say the least. 3-1 in the Super Bowl. So a very nice 8-1 mark in championship games when it comes to the Super Bowl era. The Patriots are in their 7th Super Bowl, not too shoddy. 3-3 record. They've beaten they got beat by the Bears in their first, the Packers in their second. They won their 3 against the Rams, Panthers, and Eagles. And then, of course, we remember, David Tyree, the catch, and the Giants.
With them fingers hanging on.
The Mirage in the Desert in 2007. Oh, my goodness. So it comes back to this again, as we get these two teams who met, by the way, in Week 9 in Foxborough. The Giants 24-20 win over the Pats in that game. So now it's interesting to see how the Giants can play this one out, Bob. You know their MO.
Right.
They like the revenge factor.
Of course.
They like the no respect card.
Yep.
They like going up against a team that is invincible, that no one can beat. You know, they did it against the undefeated Patriots. Oh, they can't be beat. We lost to them in a tight game late in the season. We feel the second time around we can get them. They did it to the Packers this year, 15-1. Oh, we lost to them late in the year this year in a close game. We feel like in a rematch we can get them. Oh, no respect. Everybody thinks the Packers are unbeatable. They did it against San Francisco even.
Yeah.
San Francisco, great season this year. Beat the Giants out in San Francisco earlier in the year. But the Giants have beaten the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They've beaten the Patriots in Foxborough this year when both teams were depleted with some injuries. Now both teams come in more healthy, although the big Gronkowski injury is all the talk this week so far. We'll have to wait and see on that high ankle sprain if he can go or if he's even going to be effective. Personally, I think he will be, although I'm starting to hear people now start to juice this story up a little bit and say there's whispers he's not going to play. I would not listen to those whispers at all.
So,
Rob Gronkowski will be in this game.
What is your score pick?
We'll get to the predictions later in the game, and maybe we'll even come up with a little wager between the two of us if we can. We do have a lot of other things to get to, but we will get back to that before it is over. No doubt about it, and we'll get some keys to that game. Third down conversions,
Yes.
what I tell you, third downs. The Niners were not good against third downs against the Saints, even in their win. They only converted one meaningless third down in this entire game. They could not do it. The Patriots, not good on third down, gave up the 9 of 17 third down to the Ravens. The Giants have led the league. Manning has on completion percentage on third downs, and he's also the highest rated quarterback in the fourth quarter. Things to watch. That and that, weak secondary of the Patriots against the young trio of unstoppable receivers by the Giants there. Of course, the fearsome foursome front four of the Giants pass rush, getting to Brady, causing troubles for him and all that good stuff. So, and everybody says, hey, Manning's even playing better than Brady is at the quarterback position right now.
Hey, when we get down to...
If you've been listening to the hype, Bob, you got to feel pretty confident because really, even though the Patriots are favored in this game, was 3.5, it's now 3. Don't be surprised if it's 2.5, maybe 2 by game time.
It might get down to even money.
It could be, probably not, but that's probably too far removed for Vegas. But really, the public sentiment and the media sentiment is that the Giants should be favored in this game, and they are clearly the better team. Patriots might not even want to show up for this game.
Oh, jeez.
We'll have to wait and see. Locally, Bob, why don't you catch us up real quick because we got a lot to get to on the Danbury Whalers.
Well, we had a great game against the Brooklyn Aviators this past Saturday.
Was that the 8-3 one?
8-3, yes.
Demolition.
They shot them down.
Shot them down, and they're playing well. They're still sitting in third place, but that's kind of because some of the early season stuff, those point differentials were way out of whack. But how is their lead over the fourth and fifth guys?
Oh, they're still very well. They're doing great. Matter of fact, we have, with the Aviators, 2 of our former players are now with the Aviators. Dombrowski and Schott.
Moved over teams. That's interesting.
We had a lot of new players added, and as a matter of fact, starting Saturday, one of our former Trashers is back.
Oh, the old Danbury Trashers. How many years has it been since the Trashers?
2005, 2006 was the last time they were here.
Former owners. How many more years does he got? He might be coming out of hiding.
I think he might be
coming back soon. Longer.
But anyway, Alex Quipple is back. Back in the mix.
Very good. So that's good. So they're playing well. They're getting an old fan favorite back.
Yep.
And they're going to keep moving on. How much longer has the season got?
We go till the 4th of March.
4th of March. That's right. I got it right here.
3rd of March, we're having the Mill Plain Firehouse is having a
March 3rd
at the Whalers.
Very good. Very good.
So anybody who's a Danbury firefighter or volunteer, we ask them all to come out, or any of the volunteers from any of the companies.
All right. Well, let's shift gears. We'll stay on hockey, however, as the NHL gets back underway.
Yeah, after the All-Star game.
The All-Star game, which I just cannot get into at all with this, pick-em game, pick-up squad game where the captains. Team Chara won, however, Bruins. But, I mean, who's on the team? It's not the Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. It's not the European versus the North American.
It's not like it was back in
They need to switch
the
that.
days.
I can't deal with it at all. No interest. I am interested in the second half of the season. Your Rangers, big overtime win against those Bruins in Boston right before the end of the first half of the season. 3 seconds left in overtime. They get a 3-2 hard-fought, good game, hard-hitting game up there in Boston. So they hold the 2-point lead on the Bruins, 66 points. Bruins 64 points, the 1 and 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. Flyers sitting right behind you, Bob, 63 points. The Capitals have moved into third place via the fact that they're in first place in their division, but they're way down at 55 points, tied with Florida, who has been struggling, also with 55 points. Elsewhere, the Pens are getting their act together after that long losing streak. They're 60-point Senators, 60 points. Devils, 55 points. Toronto, 55 points. Those are the top 8 teams right now. The Islanders have been playing better,
but not
as
better.
far. Yeah, 45 points in hockey. That's only 5-game difference, Bob. You can make up, 10 points for 5 games. So keep your eye on the Islanders. I'm not ready to bury them yet. Out west, it is Detroit with the best overall point total in all of hockey, even again ahead of the Rangers. 67 points. Vancouver, 64 points because they're in first place in their division. San Jose, same thing, 60 points. Those are the top 3 seeds right now. But St. Louis right behind Detroit with 65 points. And Nashville, Chicago, 64 points. LA, 55. Minnesota, 55. Colorado, 54. A couple teams right behind them. Dallas, Calgary, Phoenix, 52. The West is pretty bunched up towards the bottom there. That's the hockey story. NBA action. What is going on with the Brickabachers? The New York Bricks. 1-9 in their last 10. The only team they beat were the Bobcats.
Yeah.
Quick little note on the Bobcats. Congratulations, Kemba Walker had his first career triple-double recently.
Yes.
It was not in that loss to the Bricks, although the Bobcats have beaten Bricks in this sequence of losses. Melo is hurt. He might play in this game the day that we're taping, Tuesday night. So by the time the show airs, we'll see. He should be back. But they were losing even with him.
Yeah.
He's not getting along with Amari. They have no backcourt. B. Diddy, Baron Davis is starting to get healthy. We're waiting for him to start playing for the Bricks, see if they can get their situation going, because they are sitting at 7-13. The D'Antoni watch is on full bore. How much longer can he last before he gets fired? Because he can't last much longer than that.
I hear rumors.
Who's the rumor?
I hear Isaiah might be back in the mix.
Dolan's favorite guy, Isaiah Thomas. Give me a break. Isaiah Thomas. Great player, one of the all-time greats, horrible coach, and even worse GM. He should not be involved with the Knicks. If you're lucky, he will stay out of the mix.
Yeah, but you never know.
The only hope right now is that B. Diddy can spark some life into this team with some good backcourt play, because they are just not good. They're not even scoring points, Bob. They can't score to save their life. Their defense has not been that terrible, really. But they're horrible. The Celtics have recovered from their bad start. They won 4 in a row, including 2 ultra impressive wins over the Magic.
Yes.
First was the beatdown in Boston, where they allowed 56 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Then they come back from 26-point deficit in Orlando to win going away in the second half. So they win 4 straight to go to 9-9. Then they hold an 11-point lead against the Cavs.
And what they do?
Ray Allen is back from injury, and he's looking good with 22 points. And in the last 4 minutes, they get outscored 12-zip, and they lose by 1 point to end their 4-game winning streak. But their defense has been playing lights out. They still have a lot of injuries on their bench, and also Rondo is still out. So they're starting to round into shape with their bench players coming into form, getting a little more healthier with their depth. Paul Pierce looks healthy after his early season injury problems, and Allen hopefully will be back after his ankle injury, and Rondo could be back soon this week as well. They're sitting at 9-2. The Sixers still in first place in that division at 14-6. New Jersey at 7-14.
Okay.
Not good in that division in the Atlantic. But the Sixers are a big surprise right now. They've had a bit of a soft schedule, but I don't buy into that. If you're sitting at 14-6, you have to be beating somebody. So they're playing well. I think you got to keep your eye on them. They're young, looking good. The Bulls, 17-5, lost a big matchup against the Heat, but they got problems with Luol Deng out possibly for the season. Keep your eye on that. The Pacers, still looking good, 13-6. They handed the Lakers, those Fakers, out.
Yeah, how's the Fakers doing out there?
We'll get to them, but they did hand the Fakers their first home loss of the year the other night. So the Pacers are for real, perhaps at 13-6. The Bucks and the Cavs, 2 young teams, not doing bad, not doing great, 8-11. So keep your eye on them. In the Southeast, it's the Heat, Miami, 15-5. Hate to see that. The Hawks still playing very well, quietly, 15-6. The Magic have lost 3 in a row, but they're still sitting at 12-8. So that's a surprise. Southwest, we go to the Western Conference. The Mavs' early season problems seem to be a thing of the past. They are 13-8, and they played 4 games without Dirk Nowitzki. NBA fans gotta love this. Dirk Nowitzki had to sit out 4 games to get in shape because of the lockout. I mean, unbelievable. You know, this is what we're dealing with in the NBA. Some horrific played games, especially on the back-to-backs. Teams scoring 70 points on the regular, not good. So he's out, but they're starting to play very well, 13-8. Houston 12-8, Spurs 12-9, Memphis 10-9. Rudy Gay playing well after they started off a little bit weak. Oklahoma City loses to the Clip Joint last night, but they are 16-4 now, I guess it is. They are probably the hottest team overall, most consistent early in the season. Denver, how about Denver? The former Knicks, Danilo Gallinari, they came to the Brick City, by the way, Madison Square Garden, won a double overtime game. Danilo goes for 36, I believe it was in that game. He gets a contract extension. Danilo Gallinari, who everybody loved before they traded him for Melo. I think a lot of people wish he was still here.
Yeah, I think he does too.
14-6, Denver playing very well. Utah 11-7, a little bit of a surprise there. Portland 12-8. And how about the T-Wolves with Rubio, Kevin Love? They are looking good at 9-11. So not bad for the T-Wolves. Keep your eye on them. And in the Pacific, it's the Clippers in first place, even though they lost a head-to-head matchup with the Fakers the other night. They're 11-6, actually 12-6 now. Fakers 12-9. Only one road win for the Fakers. They can't get it done on home. They've been feasting at home, but the Pacers did beat them recently. College basketball, we'll talk about the Huskies, but let me give a little props to my Colorado State Rams, Bob.
Why? What's so good about the
Colorado State Rams had a nice, you remember San Diego State was a #1, #2 seed last year. Very good team, and they are 13th ranked this year. They come into Colorado State. CSU Rams beat them 77-60 on Saturday, Bob. CSU is 14-6, 3-2 in the division. I was getting a little worried because they had a very good start, but they had two terrible games against their border war competition, Wyoming, and also New Mexico. Two bad games, so I was a little concerned heading into that San Diego State game. Nice images we got of this win right there. Colorado State looking good. But they handled San Diego State with ease. They are among the league, the nationwide leaders in three-point shooting on the season. So they're playing well. Good for them. Huskies, on the other hand, lost 3 straight. They've been mired in this whole Boatwright controversy. NCAA sat him down for 3 games again after they suspended him at the beginning of the year for receiving improper benefits. Apparently, his mother's ex-boyfriend tipped off the NCAA that he possibly was getting improper benefits again. So before they find out any information, and without telling the Boatwright family who was making these calls to the NCAA, they sit him down while they look at it. And it turns out a family friend was helping out his mom with some car payments. Nothing to do with recruiting, nothing to do with college basketball. Boatwright had nothing to do with it at all. Meanwhile, they sit him down, and he's from Indiana. They notify him hours before tip-off of a Notre Dame game in Indiana, his home state, where he had 40 people there that had got tickets to this game. So the NCAA really was just ridiculous in their handling of the situation, but they have lost 3 straight. Cincinnati, Tennessee, Notre Dame, all those games were one-possession games. They lost by 3 points, 3 points, and 2 points. And they get Georgetown next and Seton Hall following that, so they got to get their act together. Only twice in the Calhoun era has a UConn team lost 3 straight and made the tournament. They are out of the top 25 now, Bob.
Yes, I know.
They got to get this thing going. Only 3 Big East teams in the top 25, as a matter of fact. The Hoyas at 14, Syracuse we know at #2. They finally got beat. Notre Dame beat them. And Marquette, very well, 7-2 in the Big East, #15 overall. South Florida, 6-3 in the Big East. Louisville, 5-4. West Virginia, 5-4. Cincy, 5-4. The Huskies at 4-4, I believe it is. So keep your eye on them. They got to get things going because they're not good. 14-6 overall record. Kentucky's #1, Cuse 2, Ohio State, Missouri, North Carolina, Baylor, Duke, Kansas, Michigan State, Murray State, still undefeated, 21-0. #1, 21 Florida State beat North Carolina and Duke at Duke. So watch out for Florida State, the upset-minded Seminoles, with some big wins. Australian Open real quick because we don't have much more time. And we got to get to those predictions and the wager. Australian Open, the men's final was epic, to say the least. Djokovic, 7th straight time he's met Rafael Nadal in a final, 7th straight time he has beat him. 5-7, 6-4, 6-2, 6-7, and 7-5. The match lasted 5 hours and 53 minutes.
That's
the longest Grand Slam final ever in men's history. Djokovic is going for the Serb Slam. He has won 3 straight. The French Open is the only Grand Slam he has not won, and that's up next. If he wins that, that'll be 4 Grand Slam titles in a row, not in the same calendar year. However, it can be the Serbian Slam for him. And on the women's side, we have a new girl on the block, Victoria Vika Azarenka. Impressive fashion,
Yes.
1 hour, 22 minutes, 6-3, 6-0 after being down 2-0 in the first. So she basically went 6-1, 6-0 over Maria Sharapova in the women's final. Victoria is the world's new #1, as it was, what's her name there? You know what I'm talking about. You know, Wozniacki.
Yeah.
She is no longer #1. She still hasn't won a Grand Slam. I give credit to Sharapova, though, because she has not won a Grand Slam since 2004.
Right.
She's been in 6 finals, and she's been in the last 2. So she still works as hard as ever and is putting herself in position.
Right.
Couple quick baseball notes. Jorge Posada finally retired, a Yankee for life. Jorge is gone, and the fielder is the new Prince of Motor City, as Prince Fielder heads to Detroit in surprising fashion. 1 minute left. How about a wager, Bob?
Okay.
If your Giants win,
yes,
I will wear your Strahan jersey for the next show.
And I'll wear your.
And if the Patriots win, you can wear one of my Patriot jerseys, and we will get you on set in front. Okay. Your prediction for the big game?
I would say it's going to be 28-31.
In favor of?
The Giants.
Giants in a little bit of a high-scoring game, 28-31. If you remember in 2007, I boldly predicted the Patriots to blow out the New York Football Giants. And then against the Packers, I predicted the Giants to lose. I predicted them to lose against the Falcons, but against San Francisco, I said, no way, I'm not picking against the Giants again. And after hearing all the hype and just knowing that my Patriots are lucky to be there, what can I say? They don't even deserve it, Bob. How are they going to win the game? How could they possibly win this game? Patriots get their 4th Super Bowl win, 35-21. It's over early in this one. 4th quarter going away. Thank you for tuning in. Take the points. Take the Patriots. Super Bowl.
Go Giants. Beat the Patriots all the way.
We will see you somehow, some way next week. We'll see whose jersey I'm wearing.
I've been a troublemaker. I've been a late-night player. I've been broke as a joke. I've been a money maker. I've been a record breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make a shaky, shaky thing. Popping, lock, and stop and let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip-hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school. We think we're so cool. We take it back to the past. We gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger. Make my Jaeger just a little bigger. We kick it old school. We think we're so cool. We take it back to the past. We gonna act a fool. Up jumps the middle finger. Make my Jaeger just a little bigger. Take that shot right and make it a little bigger. Cause we're out for the night and the kids are with us.